Hello, guys. Good evening. I hope everyone is doing good today, and I warmly welcome you all to this video session. And as you all know, today we are continuing on our Python interview series. Before we jump to the video, who are we? We are Data Valley, the fastest growing edtech company of 2025. And if you're wondering how we can help you, we provide IT solutions, trainings, and placement support. So, what kind of IT solutions? Let's say you run a company or you have a startup and you need a talented pool of people. Yes, we do have people who are talented enough, who are trained in those kind of domains. So, we do people, we help you with providing people. But let's say, okay, I'm in a learning phase, I want training. Yes, we do provide you with IT learnings as well. So, talking about training, we have varieties of training programs and for different subjects as well. What are these subjects? Like data analytics, data science, data engineering, MERN stack development, ethical hacking, Python developer, Java developer, Selenium, cybersecurity, whatnot. Name anything. We have almost, all in-demand top industry courses. So you can take our training program as well, and on top we also help you with your placement support as well. So we are more than glad to help you in your career progress, and that's why we are the fastest growing edtech company of 2025. And without further delay, let's jump to the video. You all know the routine, what you have to do, isn't it? Grab your coffee, have your notes ready if you have the practice of taking notes, and pay attention to the video just 1 hour or maybe 50 minutes. I'll try to keep it as much faster as possible, and I hope this session will be beneficial to you. And myself, Franklin, I've got almost 3+ years of experience as a data engineer, and I'm really glad and passionate to bring this video to you as a part of knowledge share. So good luck with your learning. Let's get into the video. Explain is title method. So this is title method is a built-in string method. And why it is used? It is used to determine if a string follows the conventions of a title cased string. What do I mean by a title cased string first of all? So let's say I have a string, okay? So title cased must be something like, let's say Frank is your tutor, okay? So Frank is your tutor today. So this is my title case sentence. So then what is not title case then? How it is different? So in here, let's say I have the same sentence, okay? But Frank is your tutor today. Okay? I've got two different sentences here. So the difference is a bit obvious, isn't it? For the first one, you can see that I've got all my first letters to be capital, right? So for Frank, F is capital. In is, I is capital. In your, Y is capital. Tutor, T is capital. And for today, T is capital again. But in the next sentence, you see that Frank, F is capital and K is capital. Is, I and S is capital. Your, R is capital. Tutor, U and R are capital. In today, TOD is capital. So this doesn't follow the conventions of our title case. So by default, all our title case must be starting with the capital letter. Okay? And then whatever follows next to it must be of a lowercase. If you see in our example, you can see that anything after the first uppercase letter is all lowercase format. So this is how we can know that this is following a title cased convention. Let's talk about the functionality. It returns true if the string is considered title cased and false otherwise. We just saw that what is the difference between the title case and not having a title case, right? So whenever your particular string is of a title cased, then you will be returned with the value true. Okay, you will be returned with the boolean value true. And if your string doesn't follow the conventions of a title case, in that case you will be returned with the boolean character false. And then a string is considered title cased if, so in here I've got three rules which says that your string follows a title case. If your string doesn't follow any of these three rules in the below statement, then it just means that you're not following the title case convention. Let's see what are the considerations we have to make sure that something is of a title case. First thing, it contains at least one cased character. So you might have a sentence, and in that particular sentence you might have few words, right? For example, Franklin, um maybe a single word, right? Apple is a fruit. Okay, apple is a is a single word, right? So you have to make sure that at least you have one cased character. Okay, and then every word in the string starts with an uppercase. So first you need at least one cased character. So even if you mention a string with one letter A, that should be in a capital, right? Because it's a letter, and it is, it is the one and the single letter, and hence if you put that in a capital case or a uppercase, then it can be considered as an title case. Then every word in the string starts with an uppercase letter. So we just saw an example, right? Franklin is your tutor today. In that particular example, we saw that every word started with the capital or our uppercase letter format. So all your first character of your word must start with an uppercase letter. Then all other letters within each word are lowercase. So anything after your first letter or your first uppercase letter is of an lowercase format. And then non-alphabetic characters like spaces, numbers, and symbols are ignored when evaluating the title case rule. They act as separators for words, but their case is not checked. Let's say you're having a non-alphabetic character. What do I mean by a non-alphabetic character? It can be a space, it can be a number, it can be a symbol, it can be a sign like a plus and a minus. So what happens is that all these kind of non-alphabetical characters are ignored, and what happens is these non-alphabetical characters are considered as a separator or a delimiter. You can say, it's up to you. So these are considered as a separator, and their case is not checked. Why is that? Because there's nothing to be checked. For a space, how can you even check a case? For a number, how do you even check a case? For a symbol, how do you even check a case? So you don't have any uppercase, lowercase, right? Do you have uppercase and lowercase numbers? No. Do you have uppercase, lowercase space? No. Do you have uppercase, lowercase symbol? No. You just have a space, you just have a number, you just have a symbol. So all these non-alphabetical characters are considered as a separator, and they are ignored while evaluating the title case format. The syntax is string.istitle method. So string.istitle signifies that the string in here denotes the string that you want to check your istitle method. So to which string would you like to run istitle method? So that is called in your string. And dot notation is title method. And in this is title method, you will have no parameters. So Your istitle method is pretty much straightforward, which doesn't take any parameters to it. Then the return value. So as I mentioned earlier, the return value is either true or a false. So you will be returned with a boolean value. It will return true if the string is title cased, and it will return false if your string does not follow the conventions of a title case, or worst case if your uh, variable has an empty string. In that case, you'll be returned with a false. Let's see how this works in our code implementation. So in here, I've got a perfectly title cased string. So this is a title cased string. So if you notice here, T is capital in this, I is capital in is, A is capital in A, title cased T is capital, string S is capital. Does it follow the title case convention? So what are the conventions? You should have a character, at least a single character. Yes, we do have a sentence, and all the words must be starting with an uppercase. Yes, all the letters are starting with an uppercase, and any letter followed by your uppercase must be of an lowercase format. So this is a title case string, so all follows the lowercase form. And the syntax is text1. Why is that? Because I'm calling this particular string to be checked upon. So title1 dot is title method, and I'm calling this method into a new variable called title res1. The reason being, your original string is immutable, so once you have created it, you cannot modify it. So now what you're doing, you are creating a new string with all the changes in place already. So now when I run this, it gives me true. Isn't that obvious? Because you have your string to be title cased, right? Now I just would like to test, what if I just have a single character? So at least you must have a character, right? A single character or a number. What I'll do is I'll just put in here A. Okay. And now when I run this, yes, it is true. So as long as I have a character, that is fine. What if I have a number here? It will return false, isn't it? So make sure that whenever you check for title case, your string at least has a single character. And even if that particular character is in lowercase, then you'll be written with false. Okay, so always capital letter even if it is for a single letter. And then now let's go to our next example, a string where not all words start with the uppercase. So I've got a string here. This is not title cased. If you notice this, there is no uppercase first letter, right? So all the letters are lowercase format. So this is not title case, not even one letter is uppercase. Now when I run this, the answer is expected to be false, isn't it? So I'll run it, and as you see here, it has returned me false. And the next one is a string with mixed case within words. So this is not title cased. If you notice here, what has happened here, after not title cased, okay, I put this into a single word, and if you notice, n is capital and t is capital. I don't have any space, right? So just be sure about it. So what would it return then? It will return false. Now here it has returned false. Why is that? Because this is considered as one word, and within a word only the first letter can be an uppercase, and any letter followed by an uppercase must be lowercase. For the same example, if I put a space next to not, then it would correspond to an title case, right? For each individual word, the first letter is capital letter. So I'll just put it back. Cool. And now A string with numbers and signals. What did I say about numbers and symbols? All your numbers, symbols, signs, spaces are considered as an separator. Okay, any non-alphabetical character are considered as an separator. So these will be ignored. Let's check it out. If you see here, I've got true. So Python 3.10 is great. So 3.10 will be considered as an integer, sorry, as a float value, which is a number again, right? So anything after that must be of a capital letter. What if I put is closer to the number? My answer is true because your non-case characters are ignored. So it has returned me true again. What if next to the separator I write it with a small letter? So Python is great. In here it has returned me the false. The reason is simple. So Python 3.10, right? It is ignored basically. So this is your sentence. And when you have that, you need to make sure that your first letter starts with the capital letter. What if 3.10 is, and then I put again a number? What is your guess? I say it is true again. Why is that? Because it just considers the case letters, not all your non-alphabetical. And what if I put one more is here? It is again true because this is considered as a space. Okay, all your number is considered as a space, and immediately after that I've got this in a capital letter IA, right? So this is how your title is title method works with numbers and symbols. And to our next example, for an empty string. For an empty string, your isTitle method will return false value. The logic is very simple here. The reason is, to what does it compare with? So you are saying, okay, use isTitle method to verify if my no, if my string is of title case. But in here, there is nothing to be compared against, right? Therefore, it'll return false because you're not comparing your isTitle case method with any of the string. And by default title case conviction, you must have at least one case letter in your sentence. And then in my next example, I've got a string that has only uppercase letters. So not just the first letter, all my letter are in capital format. So when I run this, I can see that it has returned me the value false, right? Why is that? Because your your example 6 doesn't follow the conventions of a title case. What does your title case say? Only your first letter can be an uppercase, and anything followed after that must be of a lowercase. But in our scenario, we have got all caps, which is all capital letter. Therefore, your isTitle method will return a false boolean value. Now let's go to our next method, the zfill method. Zfill method is a built-in string method used to pad a string with leading zeros until it reaches a specified total length. So what do I mean by this? In your zfill method, you will be denoting the length. Okay? And what happens when you provide the length is that zeros get added to your string. So let's say your original string is of size 5 and you are providing a new zfill value to be 10. Okay? Then what happens is that all the characters are different. Okay? So from your leading start, so whatever is in your beginning of your string, you get to add the value 0. Okay? until the value or a particular padding index is reached. For example, let's say I give 10 and the original string is of 6. When you provide 10, what happens is that your strings get moved to your right side. So for 6, you must add 4 more zeros, right? So because you need to convert this, your word, okay, it'll have 4 zeros at the front and then 6 characters, which still, equals to the size of the uh, width that you're mentioning. Let's talk about the syntax. The syntax goes like string dot set fill width. So string is what you're using to fill, with zeros. So that is string is called on. And to what string are you calling this? So that is your, sorry, to the string what method are you calling? You're calling zfill method. And talking about zfill method, we cannot ignore the parameter width. So this width parameter will take an integer value. Why is that? For example, let's say I'm going to a shop, okay? I need an apple. So how do I ask them? Do you have an apple? Do you have apple? Can I have 5 apples? Can you get me 12 apples? So all these are in an integer format. Why is that? The reason is simple. Because it is not complete, right? Let's say you're going, you cannot ask like, can I have one up? Can I have 1.5 apple? I cannot ask to a shopkeeper, can I have 2.3 banana? Because that doesn't make any sense, right? Either it is there or it is not there. What is the count? Either it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is how you give your width value. It should be always of integer data type. And this width is very important because whatever the value that you provide, the integer value you provide, that becomes the length of your new string. So if you say 10, your original string will be, getting zeros to your left and making sure that the length specified in the width is reached. Let's talk about the functionality. So what happens is that it pads with zeros. So if the width provided is greater than the current length of the string, zfill adds 0 characters to the beginning of the string until its total length equals width. So whatever width you are providing, okay, so to increase the number of your string, so for example your string value is 10 and you want to make it to 20. So instead of uh, just trying to add some elements manually or whatever, you can use zfill method, which will make sure that your particular string has the total number of uh, characters mentioned in your zfill method. And then handling of signs. If the string starts with the sign character plus or minus, the zeros are added after the sign character, not before it. Okay. For example, let's say you have something like plus 400. Okay. So when you're trying to zfill, what happens is that, so I'm saying, okay, I want like 7. So I want I want the length of my string to be 400. Okay. To be 7. But in here I've got 4, 0, 1, 2, 3. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 is my total space in here. Now I'm saying set fill 7.